This is Jamie Pearson, and I'm here with Vivian Patriquen for the Kings Canyon Museum for an oral history. So our first question is, could you tell us your full name?
Vivian Geraldine
Patriquen.
Patriquen.
And were you named after anyone?
Not that I know
No? When and where were you born?
of. I was born in Waterford, Kings County, just above Sussex.
And when was that?
That was in 1918, or 17 rather.
Can you tell us a little about the house where you grew up?
The house where I grew up in the Municipal home because I moved from Waterford to Norton when I was 18 months old.
Okay.
Oh, wow, you were that young.
Pardon?
You were that young when you moved to Norton?
Yes, my parents took over the Municipal home there when I was 18 months old.
Yes.
So
Wow.
I lived most of my life there.
Yes. Wow.
How old were you when you left there?
When I left there, well, when I got married, I left there and I was 24.
24?
But I mean, I wasn't there all the time when I went away to teachers college, and and then I just would be there on weekends
When you
and
came home.
holidays and
Where did you go for teachers college?
to Fredericton.
Fredericton. Okay. Was it where the university is now, or did they have a different?
Pardon?
Did they have a different college there in Fredericton?
Well, they had a normal school, they called it, and it was just to train to be a teacher.
Okay. And how many years did that take?
That took one at that time.
Just a year?
Yeah.
And then did you come back here to work? Or?
No, you could go back and get a degree, but I got married in the meantime, and I just taught for school 4 years.
Just for 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did you teach, Vivian?
I taught up in the Canaan River at Hunter's Home.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
thought I was at the end of the world.
You were?
I was so lonesome up there.
Oh, it would be
I
bad.
went there, I taught there for 3 years,
Yes.
and every fall when I'd go back, I'd be homesick.
Ah.
And but I got over it. The people I boarded with were really super. It was a young couple, and
Oh.
when I first went there, they were living in a log cabin built in their house.
Wow.
So I boarded in the log cabin until Christmas time, and then moved into their new house and
Wow.
stayed there. We were there a couple of years when she had a little baby, and
Nice.
it was nice. They were real. I got real close to the couple that were there, but they've both passed away.
Oh.
Then the next year I taught up in Walker Settlement,
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
named after my dad was named after the settlement, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Because I was Vivian Walker.
Before, okay. Did you meet your husband while you were working, or
Oh, I knew him all my life.
all your life?
Yeah, he was 1 year younger than I was, and I used to see him looking out the window when I walked to school. And we were always good friends when we were little, and he used to carry my books home.
Oh.
All that. So anyway, we were always friends and best friends, and then when we got up where we were going together, I guess you'd call it, and we'd break up for a while, but always come back together. Yeah.
And what was his name?
Donald Patriquen.
And did he live on your road? Was that
Yeah, he had the service station there.
okay?
His father had the service station, and he took it over when he was about 16 or 17. He left school. He'd had enough of that. He was in grade 10, I think he was.
Yeah.
So once you were married, was that when you stopped teaching?
Yes.
And that's when.
Yeah. That was in 1941.
You never went back to teaching?
Well, yes, I did. After my kids were grown up, I supplied quite a bit in the Norton school. One of the girls, Isetta Gauntz, would you know?
Yes. Frank Gauntz's wife.
Every time when she was sick, she had a lot of migraine headaches and things. She
Okay.
used to call me to come in for her.
Oh, to
So I used to go in for her. Then I taught when Pat Byrne was having her children. I supplied for her quite a bit too.
Good.
So I always enjoyed getting back
going
to it.
back.
Yeah. I'll bet they enjoyed you too.
Oh, I don't know about that, but time I was supplying, and one of them was stayed out at the water fountain too long, and I went out to see what he was doing, and when I come back, one of the kids were missing. He jumped out the window.
Oh my goodness.
And Oscar Boyd was the principal, and he gave me kind of a, he didn't like it because he said, what would that look like if someone was driving by and saw a kid jumping out the window? But it was right at, you know, well, it was, I suppose, about 6 feet. He'd have to jump.
Still, yeah.
But anyway.
When you first started teaching, would it have been in a one-room schoolhouse then, or?
Oh yes, one
And
room
then-
and 8 grades.
In 8th grade. And then when you were supplying, was
No, I just applied for 1 grade,
it was just a one class.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 grade at a time in the Norton school.
Yeah.
That's when, I can't remember just when they were built that addition on. When I went to school there, it was just 4 classrooms.
Okay.
And later on, they built on the auditorium and some classrooms upstairs, more classrooms.
Okay.
So that,
Mm.
but there was always 1 or 2 grades in a room, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I guess when I supplied for Izetta, there were 3 grades in the room. I was thinking
Yeah.
there was only grade 1, but as I remember back, I think there were 3.
Yeah.
Was it different teaching more than 1 grade at one time? Was it kind of harder to?
Well, it was, but that was what you had to do, and you just had work for the grades that you weren't teaching at the time. They were doing something else, and
Just kind of went around to each one and.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it was interesting. I always wanted to be a teacher from the time I was. When I was growing up in the municipal home,
Yeah.
there was always children there, and we played school a lot.
Oh, yes.
And so, you know, that's what I always wanted to do. So,
Good. Yes.
Yeah. So,
And you said you were married in 41,
yeah.
was it? And then when were your kids born?
Well, Wayne was born in 46, and Sandy was born in 51, 5 years apart.
Yeah.
And just the two kids?
Yeah, just the 2 children.
So once you were married, where did you live?
Where did I live?
Once you were married.
I lived right on where the garage is, on the well, it's Highway 121 now, they
Okay.
call it, I guess.
Yeah.
And the garage is still there,
Oh, really?
but the pumps were taken out and everything when shortly after Don retired. He rented the garage for a while, but that didn't work out, so.
He was a very popular man, Jamie.
Yeah.
Yes, he had a lot of friends, and
He did.
He ran a nice, clean garage.
Yes.
One person said you could eat off the floor.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. And has your hometown changed? I guess Norton, has it changed very much since you were younger?
Oh,
Do you
yes.
see a lot of changes? Yeah.
Yes, I've seen a lot of changes there. We used to have 5 stores in Norton. I think it was 5.
Oh my goodness.
We used
That's
to have
quite
a
a
little,
change.
and when I was really young, we had a little drugstore there,
Yes.
Okay.
and a telephone office with telephone operators,
Okay.
which was really nice because you could get who you wanted without pressing 1 and pressing 2 and 3. You just tell the operator who you wanted, she'd get them for you. That was it.
That's a little different.
I bet.
I'm now, by the time they get through saying all these numbers, press this, I forget which one it was I wanted to press. But anyway,
That would be Ellen and Kate were the operators,
Ellen Anderson,
and Kate Yerxa.
Kay Erickson,
Yeah.
Edith Harris wasn't.
No,
Kate Yerkes.
Kate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edith's sister.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know who the rest were. Well, quite a few of them. Oh, Phyllis Smith was one.
Okay.
But anyway, they had that, and we never had any school buses or anything, just
No, walked.
walk or get there the best way you knew how.
Yeah.
We always walked to school.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So you were living at the municipal home when you were living at the municipal home when the flood, when it was flooded in 36?
oh yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you remember that flood?
I remember a flood that I was having my birthday party, and they had to come through the village on a boat
Yes.
to go to it.
You still had it.
I don't remember which birthday it was, but
Yes. Well, that would be 1936, one of the floods.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would probably be when it was.
Yes. Yeah.
But Norton has been flooded quite a few times,
Yes.
but not as bad as that.
No. No.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
My worst child.
Your earliest.
Oh, earliest.
Or
If
your
you
worst.
have a worst, you can tell too.
I don't know what my earliest would be. I remember Dr. Windsor had to put this little finger on it. I got it caught in the pulley. I was, I suppose, about 4 years old, and I was pulling the hay when they, you know how they used to put the hay in?
Yeah.
And I got that little finger caught in the pulley, and it was just hanging there.
Oh,
So he put me on the kitchen table and put it back on. Put me under.
Yes.
Just did it on our kitchen table.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
It stood
And,
there.
so that was one early memory.
That could be a worst too.
Yeah. I think I just had a normal childhood, but I didn't have any sisters. I had 2 brothers.
Okay.
I always wanted a sister, but
Yeah. Were you
because
the-
all my friends had sisters and I didn't.
They got to play with.
Yeah. So, but I had all these other children to play with, and some of the children, like a couple of the girls, became really close with our family.
Good.
And like, did you remember Verda Vaughn?
No, I don't, Vivian.
Well, she was a girl that came there to the municipal home with her father, and her father was blind, and she and her little sister came there, and they were destitute, really. The mother had left them, and so anyway, she stayed there, and she and I got really close, and there came the time when they're 16, they had to leave there and go out on their own, get placed. So the county commissioners would place them somewhere, and so they placed her with this rich family in Rossay, and they didn't use her all that well, really. So anyway, she was crying, and I was crying, and everybody was crying because we really missed her, and my dad got permission to go and get her, and we never really adopted her, but we just took her in as.
Great.
And she went to Montreal and became a nurse.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And the Women's Institute in Norton helped.
Wow.
My father put her through as a nurse.
Isn't that great?
That's great.
Yeah.
But it was funny. She always would go back to her older sister, when she'd have her holidays and things. It was family, you know.
Yes.
And she'd go back to her, and then she'd come to us and spend the rest of her vacation at vacation time.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But then another girl that she married and lived in Norton, or handy in Norton, and she used to come whenever my mother needed help. Like, she always had a hired girl, we called her.
Oh, yes.
And Alice would come, and she'd help my mother out, and
Good.
so she was kind of like a sister too.
Yes. Yes.
So
Who all came to the municipal home?
who all came?
Yes.
Well, it was like every county had or every parish rather, had what they called a commissioner,
Okay.
and the commissioner would decide who couldn't stay in their own home anymore,
Okay.
and they came to the municipal home.
Okay.
And this father that was blind and had these two little girls, and the older sister, she had left home.
Yes.
She lived up in Newcastle, and but anyone, I mean, there was always 30 or so there.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and sometime, well, at one time, the highest time was there was 18 children.
Wow.
But that was, I often wonder how my mother ever survived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
She-
did you have a lot of chores to do?
She had, did I have a
Yes.
lot? Well, I did dishes and things like that.
Yeah. And your mom did all the cooking?
No, see, she had this hired girl.
Oh, I see. Okay. But still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, she still had a lot of work to do, and she'd be up at night trying to balance the, you know, she had so much money for groceries, they'd allow her so much, and we shopped at Harmer's store there,
Oh, yes.
and they put the grocery thing up for tender every spring, or every year,
I suppose.
and Jones is in Applehawk,
Yeah.
and Harmer's in Norton tendered for it, and
Yeah.
usually Harmer's got it, but
Yeah.
Jones just had it sometimes.
Sure.
But anyway, she'd be trying to, you know, decide what she could buy to
Uh,
make the money go as far as it would go.
yes.
And at Christmas time, she'd have the Eaton catalog out to try and get little gifts for the kids and things.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I don't know how she ever
No.
managed, but she did.
Did people donate things?
Oh yes,
Did
a
they?
lot of people gave things,
Okay.
and especially institute groups.
Ah, great.
And the Norton Institute group came every fall and put on a nice supper for them.
Oh, nice.
They always look forward to that.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
yeah,
wonderful.
it was. They were used really good.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot better than if they were struggling
Oh,
at home. Some of them were abused, and
that's right.
but anyway, it came time that they thought that the children and the older people shouldn't be in the same place.
Oh.
So they placed them all in homes, and
Oh, yes.
so some of them we heard from again, and some we never did.
No.
While you were there, were there like different rooms for each family, or how was it set
No,
up?
it was a big ward for the women, and at one end of the house, and a big ward for the men at the other,
Oh, okay.
and then the children were in between, like.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Was the hospital on the third floor while you were there?
Yes, the hospital was up on the third floor,
Yeah.
and they used to have nurses come there and take care of
Wow.
not just the people from the home, but
Yeah.
Ernie Elcord told me one time about being there and having this nurse, and how he was so pleased with how he was used and everything.
Isn't that great?
I think it was appendix or something like that.
Yeah.
he had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And every spring they used to have this, I don't know what they called it, but all the children from around would come and get their tonsils out.
Oh.
Oh my
And
god.
this was,
Like to prevent it.
yeah, and it was awful because Berta, this older girl that I told you about, and I used to sit on the barn step and hear the kids crying and everything. So
Did you ever have it done, or
no,
no?
I never had it
Lucky.
done. I kept mine.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, no, it's just, but I don't know, it's a shame, I think, because there's still a need for that place.
Yes, there is. There is.
And because a lot of people can't afford to go, you just can't afford to go to nursing home.
No, you can't. No.
And so it was the parish she came from, I suppose, paid for their keep there.
Yes.
But anyway, they decided that then it was run privately, and that's when it went.
Yeah.
Didn't last.
No, it didn't. No.
No. I just feel sick every time I go by there.
I know.
It's nothing now.
No, nothing.
Just a bunch of rubble.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than playing, I guess, school with the other children, were there any other games you can remember playing?
Other games? Oh, we used to skip rope a lot.
Yeah.
My daughter-in-law was telling me about teaching her grandchildren how to skip rope.
Oh,
And I thought, how would you teach somebody to skip rope? They just have to come by it naturally.
Do it.
But anyway, that's what she's doing.
good. Yeah.
They caught right on, she said.
Did they? Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an older relative that you can remember in your family?
Oh,
When you were
yes,
younger?
I can remember my aunts from the States. And when they'd come down in the summer, it'd be my job to drive them around.
Oh.
When I got so I could
Yes. Yeah.
drive them. And I had an aunt in Sussex that I used to stay with when there'd be high school parties up there. I went to Sussex to high school.
Okay.
I'd stay at her place at night.
Yes.
Aunt Gussie.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Do you remember your grandparents?
No, see, I just had one grandmother
Yeah.
living
Okay.
after I was born.
Yes.
Okay.
And my grandmother was almost blind. She used to come visit us every year. She visited around all her children. I think she had 9 or 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she'd
Yeah.
visit around each one, spend a week with each one. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember her coming. But it was sad. She couldn't see me or anything.
No.
But I used to take her upstairs to bed and show her, you know. But she got so she used to it. Mom always wanted me to carry a lamp up for her. But she said, I don't need the lamp. You know, she couldn't see anyway, but anyway, I used to have to. She had on these long black skirts. I never
Yes.
saw her with anything but these long black skirts clear to the floor.
Yeah. Very common then.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they wore.
Yes.
And kind of silky shawls
Yes.
and things.
Yeah.
But they would be black too.
Oh, yes.
Well, maybe she was mourning for her husband. I don't remember that. I don't
Yes.
remember how long he'd been dead.
Exactly.
But I suppose it's down, and I've got kind of a history of the Andersons. And
Yes.
that would be down in it would be in that when he died.
Yes. Yeah.
But I just never took it in.
You
Never was interested in history. Not like you, Jay. I just take the present as it comes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it takes up a lot of your time when you get interested
Oh,
in
it must. I often get thinking about some of the family or something, and I go down and look in that book the Andersons had put out here
Yes.
at the reunion a few years ago.
Exactly.
And to find out who's who.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great to have those to look back.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Are there any other memories or stories that you'd like to share from maybe when you were married or had your kids, or anything that was interesting or comical, or?
Oh, there's lots of things that were. Most of our activities at that time were around the church.
Yes.
I mean, the church was. We went to church and we walked to Sunday school, and when I got old enough, I went to 2 Sunday schools. I went with
yeah.
Mad Sherwood.
Yeah.
She was my best friend.
Yes.
And we went, she'd come to my Sunday school and I went to hers, and we went, she was Anglican, but she went to the Baptist Sunday school. It was the Baptist one I went to with her. And we just, all our activities, like as I grew older, I belonged to CGIT.
Yes.
That had to do with the church. But the big event in our church every year is our Sunday school picnic down at McCutcheon's Wharf. We had to get transportation down there. And
Oh, yes.
that Mrs. McCutcheon would make our tea and
Yes.
everything, and we'd swim off the wharf, and it was great. We did a lot of swimming when we were little.
Yes.
Just swim in the brook,
Oh, sure.
no pools then.
No.
I never heard tell of a swimming pool,
No.
but a lot of people learn to swim in brooks.
Which is good.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Is there anything else? Any other stories that you can remember? Maybe from when your kids were growing up, or?
I just remember Wayne always wanting the car. No, I'm not wanting him to have it.
When you were going to high school in Sussex,
Yeah, I went to high school in
Yeah.
Sussex.
and then you went back up and stayed overnight when there were parties, did you say, or dances?
Yeah, we used to have high school parties.
High school parties. Yeah. Where did you have the parties? At the school?
Yeah, the school auditorium.
Yeah. And you got all dressed up?
Well, yeah, not really then. But
No?
after we were married was when that we used to go to Sussex or to go to Fox Hill to dances there. Did you ever go there?
No.
That big house where Dr. Allaby lives
Yes.
now.
Oh,
They used to have dances there,
wow.
like house dances. And then they got so public that they had to stop it.
Oh, yes.
But
Wow.
Don and I used to go there a lot.
Yes.
And then when Art, Humphrey and Lila and Don and I used to go to get all these frilly dresses on and all that, and get all dressed up and go to dances in Hampton.
Yes.
That the Legion would have.
Were they square dances?
They had square dances and round dances.
And round dances? Yeah. I can remember you and Dawn being at the Legion when we were going there.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. And
Yeah, we
Art.
used to go to the Legion too.
Yeah.
a lot.
And Art and Lila and yeah.
Would we be dressed up then?
Well,
I don't remember being dressed up. I mean, really.
we were, yeah, not overly, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But I forget where else we used to go. They used to have a lot of house dances out at Art Humphrey's parents.
Do they? Did they? Yeah.
We used
Okay.
To, Dawn and I used to go there to dances a lot.
Wow.
But it wasn't dress up or anything.
No, we saved that for New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's and Easter. Easter Monday.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But there were a lot of people are wearing those long dresses now, but
They are?
don't have those big frilly skirts on like we used to.
No, no, no. What was your wedding dress like, Vivian?
Well, I didn't have a big wedding because my father just died that summer.
Uh,
I was planning on having a white wedding and everything, but Dr. Windsor said, don't plan anything big. So I didn't, I sent my white dress back that I had, and I just had a plain navy blue dress
yes.
and a white hat.
Nice. Yeah.
So we just had my family and Don's family, which was only his mother.
Sure.
And so it didn't, I always felt I was cheated out of my wedding. But
Yes, you were.
I mean, it was nobody's fault. My father told me to go on and get married. The
Yeah.
date. He died the 21st of August, and my wedding was the 2nd of September.
Oh, yeah.
We'd had it planned for a long time.
Yes.
But, so we went ahead and just went to the manse and got married.
Sure.
My mother just couldn't stand the thoughts of it,
No.
you know, a big wedding.
No. Oh, it would
Not
be too
after,
much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I couldn't either, I mean, but I just kind of, like I've always felt, I don't
True.
have my wedding pictures to look at or
No,
anything.
that's true. Wow.
But anyway, that's the way it was.
That's the way life is.
Mhm.
Mm.
Unless you have anything else to share, I don't have any more questions.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, I was just thinking of how Norton used to be. I mean, we had all these stores and the telephone office and the station house where the train stopped, and
Right.
I went to school on the train up in Sussex, and the reason for that was quite a few. Like if you wanted to go on to further your education, like in Norton, they had one teacher for grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, I think it was, or 10, 11, and 12, whatever. But up in Sussex, they had one teacher for one subject, and you know, you get more attention. And like at that time, we had to write high school entrance to get into high school.
Right.
And if you didn't pass, you stayed in grade 8 until you did.
you passed.
And then you had to get into like teachers college or UNB or any of those places, you had to write high school leaving or matriculation.
Yes.
The government set papers.
Standards of.
And I mean, you just got more attention up in Sussex.
Yes.
And they always called us the train students, which we didn't like, but
No.
they didn't like us up there either, I don't think.
No. Oh dear.
So anyway, we got through.
Yeah. Did you have a best friend in high school?
Oh yes, I did. But you know, she married a minister, and I just kind of lost track of her
Yes.
after a while.
Yes.
But of course, Mad Sherwood was always my best friend.
That's Cyril's wife, right?
Yes, Cyril's
Yes.
wife.
Yeah.
And we were, from the day we went in grade 1, we saw each other, and
Yes.
we used to go everywhere, go double dating and everything.
Yes.
And she went to high school, but then she got this chance to be a hairdresser, so she dropped out.
Yes. Her hair always looked fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she did hairdressing for quite a while.
Yes.
Till she married Cy, and then
Yeah.
she didn't. She just hairdressed on dead people.
Well, you know, there's a.
Still
It's good that someone does.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some other things I was thinking about that Norton had, we don't have anymore, but I was thinking of the station house, and
Do you remember Harmer's had a feed store, didn't they?
yes.
And didn't it burn down?
No, isn't it still there?
Well, I think the original one burned down.
Well, it could have.
Yeah.
Hargard's, and then Cyril Campbell had it.
Oh, I can remember the Cyril. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'll probably think of things after you leave, but I can't think of anything right now.
That's all right.
But like I say, the church was really
A big part of your life.
what everything centered around.
Yes.
In those days.
In those days, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What date is your birthday, Vivian?
My birthday's the 13th of March.
13th of March.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you born in a snowstorm?
Oh, I don't know. I know my mother said, I used to think I was always tired or something, and my mother said, the reason you're tired is because the winter you were born, I had to go and cut ice to water the cows.
Oh,
cut
my.
the ice out of the brook. Now imagine
No.
being pregnant and
Wow.
doing that.
Yes, exactly.
And she was all tired afterwards. And her sister that was the teacher on Gussie went and lived with her that winter. So because as most men did, they went to the woods in the winter.
That's right.
And so she was alone that winter until Aunt Gustie came and taught school there. Or she would have been alone, but Aunt Gustie came and lived with her and taught in the Rockville school.
Yes. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
thank you very much for taking the time to do this.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Appreciate it greatly.